This question comes to us from N, and N writes this: Pastor Richard, my wife and I recently moved to the Lutheran church in our community, and it has been great. I do wonder, however, why they have a crucifix on the altar. Shouldn't we be focusing on Jesus' resurrection? And isn't the crucifixion too Catholic anyhow? Thanks, N. Great question, N. When it comes to the resurrection, we have to understand that we cannot understand the resurrection apart from the crucifixion. That is, we cannot understand Easter apart from Good Friday. In fact, we can't understand much of Christianity apart from Good Friday, what Christ did on that cross. When it comes to the cross, that is Good Friday. Good Friday is at the heart of Christianity, and it is through Good Friday, the cross, that crucifixion, that we understand everything else about the Scriptures. Now, let me just point something out to you. In the Gospel of Mark, it's a wonderful, wonderful gospel, very action-packed. The Gospel of Mark takes us through, and it goes from one event to the other, and it rushes us through. But by the very end, the very climax of the whole Gospel of Mark is not the resurrection, it is the crucifixion. We think of that centurion at the side of the cross, and he looks up at Jesus after his side is pierced, and he says, "Behold, the Son of God." He realizes who Jesus is, this climactic view of Christ dying on the cross for the forgiveness of sins, all of our sins being placed on him, and him paying that wonderful payment for us. So when it comes to the church, when it comes to Resurrection Sunday, we always understand the resurrection through the light and the lens of the cross. So the cross is essentially at the very center of the church. It is not the only thing in the church, but it is the very center of the church in which we establish and understand everything else. And when we get away from that crucifixion, if we think it's too bloody or too disturbing to our conscience, then we end up going the way of a false Christ, a Christ that does not have any blood, a false Christ that is sanitized. But the Christ that we have is one who has been bloodied on our behalf for the forgiveness of all of our sins. So I hope that helps, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey Lightning Cut Watchers, if you want to learn more about the topic of this video, I'd like to encourage you to check out my new book from Concordia Publishing House titled, Will the Real Jesus Please Stand Up? 12 False Christs. It is a book focusing on the 12 false Christs created in this spiritual landscape of our North American context. There's a link below that you can look at. Please type that into your search engine and go to Concordia Publishing House to order this book, and also find all sorts of wonderful resources that are in conjunction with this book. Also, 25 likes and 25 comments on this video will boost it for others to see.